Culture. If I ask you what culture is, what would you say? If you ask me what culture is, I would be surprised if I could come up with a straightforward answer to your question. Culture is an intriguing mystery. It is a problematic that any definition would be probably partial and slippery. Culture, perhaps, to use a metaphor, is like fish that has no sense of water unless it is out of it. Now, Edward Taylor, the founder of cultural anthropology, defines culture as a complex whole that includes knowledge and beliefs. But again, beliefs is a relative term. It actually reminds me of an entertaining satirical story attributed to Mullah Nasruddin, a satirist of the 13th century. A newspaper man was interviewing Mullah Nasruddin on his 105th birthday, probably on longevity. He noticed that Mullah was wearing a rabbit's foot on his keychain. "You don't mean to tell me," said the newsman, "that a man of your experience still believes in the old and childish superstition?" "Certainly not," said Nasruddin, "but my wife tells me that it is supposed to bring good luck, whether you believe in it or not." So definitions in reality vary as theories of culture vary. Culture has been defined as nurture, as something that is learned, that is transmitted, that is socialized into according to cultural patterns and through human action and interactions. Culture has also been defined as a shared knowledge or cognition. Such a knowledge is socially constructed and variably distributed in individual members, communities, and cultural artifacts. And this knowledge is knowledge of things, people, places, emotions, understanding the world, the ability to interpret actions and make predictions. In other words, culture is an interpretive framework, and the ability to know what to do and how to do things. Culture is a system of communication, a system of signs, a semiotic theory of culture. Culture then is indeed making sense of things and representations of things and things that stand for reality or symbols. Culture, as I just mentioned, has been defined as a system of interpretation, an interpretive framework, not as an internal process, but as a direct product of human experience and interaction. Culture has also been defined as mediation. This kind of definition has been attributed to Karl Marx, the father of historical materialism. Culture is a parcel of the material world, a mediational tool mediating between people, things, and other actions. And in sociocultural theory, language is also considered to be such a tool. Culture has also been defined as practice, a concept that is attributed to Bourdieu, the French sociologist. Culture is the product and process of existential experiences, knowledge, and real-life situations, routines, and practices in which we engage. In anthropology again, and linguistic anthropology, culture has been defined as a participation system, as a participatory system in which language plays a sterile role, not only as a descriptive tool, but as a builder of social relations and interactions. and participation involves shared beliefs, values, and customs. So the question is there a final word? Obviously, culture is far more complex. It is more multi-layered, more dynamic, more shifting, more varied to allow simplistic and reductionist definitions. Culture can be defined only by specific contexts in which the term is used. Not only the context, but also the discipline, the academic discipline in which it is used. Culture, generally then, perhaps we could argue, is a learned behavior. It is an interpretive framework, a participatory mechanism, a set of social practices, a cognitive system, a system of communication, a vital component and constituent of which language is a key part. Then what is your definition of culture? Let me add to the complexity of the picture by reciting a poem entitled The Blind Men and the Elephant. It was 6 men of Hindustan to learning much inclined, who went to see the elephant, though all of them were blind, that each by observation might satisfy his mind. The first approached the elephant, and happening to fall against his broad and sturdy side, at once began to bawl, "God bless me, but the elephant is very like a wall." The second, feeling of the tusk, cried, "Oh, what have we here? So very round and smooth and sharp, to me it is mighty clear. This wonder of an elephant is very like a spear." The third approached the elephant, and happening to take the squirming trunk with its hands, thus boldly up and spake, "I see, quoth he, the elephant is very like a snake." The fourth reached out his eager hand and felt about the knee. "What most this wondrous beast is like is mighty plain," quoth he. "'Tis clear enough, the elephant is very like a tree." The fifth, who chanced to touch the ear, said, "In the blindest man can tell what this resembles most. Deny the fact who can. This marvel of an elephant is very like a fan." The sixth no sooner had begun about the beast to grope, than seizing on the swinging tail that fell within his scope, "I see," quoth he, "the elephant is very like a rope." And so these men of Hindustan disputed loud and long, each in his own opinion, exceeding stiff and strong, though each was partly in the right and all were in the wrong. So often we could say that in these attempts at defining culture, we have a war of words from different disciplines, and everyone might insist on his or particular definition of culture. Each definition only provides a partial picture of the complexity that constitutes what culture is. I would like you to think about your own definition of culture, perhaps initially at the beginning of the semester and then at the conclusion, to see if your definition of culture has changed. Thank you.